Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're at. I just want to get on here and share my story about the corruption that happened in Washington State. A lot of you already know my story, but I want to elaborate a little bit and show you um, some supporting documentation in regards to my claims of the Democratic Party and their corruption and their abuse of power and mismanagement of funds. First of all, my name is Deneen Etienne. I'm a certified welder. Um, I have been in the construction industry for over 20 years. Um, and I want to start off by saying that Bob Ferguson, Roy Cooper, and Josh Stein are corrupt. We have corrupt attorney generals, which is Josh Stein and Bob Ferguson. We have a corrupt um, uh, governor by the name of Roy Cooper. All and let me elaborate a little bit. Roy Cooper and Josh Stein are in North Carolina, and Bob Ferguson, known as Robert W. Ferguson, mind you, this is the same person, is in Washington State. And I want to get on here and let you guys know that me and my son have been dealing with a matter where Bob Ferguson patent charges up on my son. Lucky we had just today, on the 31st, we had a judge that looked at this and said, no, this can't happen. So he dismissed the charges. They were very severe, and this is Bob Ferguson's ongoing acts of corruption, collusion, and racketeering and abuse of power. I want you guys to go and look up the Gold Bar Reporter and look up Lloyd's of London Game Over. Lloyd's of London supplies insurance to the entire um, government network, such as our governmental entities, these big corporations and entities. Also, they supply, um, how do I want to say it, attorneys that people that we can't afford, uh, that can't afford attorneys, they apply public defenders. That's what I was trying to say. Public defenders. Those this Lloyd's of London has manipulated the insurance network and also manipulated the court system, the justice system. And I just want to convey to you guys, I want you to go and look up this information. This is how corrupt our government is. Lloyd's of London apologized for being a part of the slave trade, and then they turned around and basically put it back in our face and said that we're going to manipulate the insurance network and we're going to manipulate the court system. And what I mean by that, so individuals like you and I, the little people, that can't afford attorneys, you go into a courtroom, you got the judge, the attorneys, and everybody's basically, you think you hired an attorney that represent you, and basically that attorney is working with the judge and the prosecutor. And this is not right. This is not right, and everybody and their mom should be angry because we have innocent people that have died because of these individuals and also are in jail because of these individuals. Now, I want to go back to my story. So, um, let me tell you how this. I'm gonna elaborate a little bit because I have another video out there. But my son had a seizure at school, and after he had that seizure, the school failed to notify me. And after they failed to notify me, I contacted the U.S. Well, after let me back it up. I don't want to get ahead of myself. Um, I didn't want nobody to interfere with my video. Um, so basically, what happened was um, my son had a seizure at school, the school failed to contact me, and after they failed to contact me, I went to the school and confronted them. 2 days later, they locked my son up for 2 counts of indecent liberties, patting up charges on him then. I contacted the U.S. Department of Education, which found the school guilty of discrimination and retaliation. Discrimination based on his race and discrimination based on his disability and involving the police, which illegally locked him up. This was a multi-million-dollar case. I just want to show you guys. And the Department of Education accepted the following allegations based on his race and his disability. Okay. Then I take him out of the school district and put him over in Clover Park Technical College, where he has another seizure, and they contact somebody else's parents and tell them that it's their kid. All right. They get to the hospital. They realize this is not their kid. It's my son. And took them 90 minutes to contact me. And unbeknownst to me, I did not know that Bob Ferguson was involved in all this. It took me probably about 4 or 5 years to realize what was going on. So this happened back in 2011 when he got hit by the car. Well, 2010, October 2010. He was hit by a car and put in a coma for 23 days. This was Bob Ferguson's retaliation because I was a whistleblower. So the retaliation continued and continued and continued. So we hired this attorney by the name of Thaddeus Martin to represent us on the second matter, which is the Clover Park technical matter, as you can see. So Thaddeus Martin waits till we get, my ex-husband gets to get stationed in North Carolina, and unbeknownst to us, he adds the first matter, which is the Clover Park Technical High School, and then Clover Park Technical College, to it. Now, mind you, they had a whole court case, witnesses, the whole nine. And I'm going to show it to you right here. This is the court docket where they settled on the case, got the funds dispersed, and then set out an unconscionable scheme to kill me and my son. Now, in the midst of all this, I did not know what was going on. I had no clue. My family had no clue. My son, my ex-husband, nobody had a clue. So I'm continuing on with my life, bidding on contracts, so forth and so on. I ended up winning a contract with North Carolina Department of Public Safety. Now, on that contract, there was contract violations, then criminal activity, and then organized crime. Here's my story that was placed in the newspaper in the North Carolina Carolinian, which is an African-American newspaper. Minority contractor charges North Carolina with collusion and racketeering practices. And as you can see, that is my name, Deneen Etienne. So I'm fighting a battle, not only a battle in Washington State, but also that transferred over into North Carolina, where these attorney generals knew what they had did to me in Washington State and were complicit to the activity that was going on in North Carolina. So let me explain to you what happened here. So I filed my case in court, in state court, in federal court. In state court, they basically mess with my court filings. So I'm thinking if I file it in the District of Columbia, there's no way they can do that, right? Well, I was sadly mistaken. So if you notice here, October 27, 2022, it says that I filed a writ of mandamus. And if you look, I had the court docket notarized by the court. This is the court stamp, all right? And this is my case number, as you can see, 122CV0902-509ABJ. Now, the court dismisses my case, and I'm trying to file an appeal for fraud upon the court and judicial misconduct against these three judges here. Okay? These three judges. And after I filed judicial misconduct, I'm thinking, you know, maybe the judges will do a set-aside motion. Well, it never was a set-aside motion. And I'll show you. This book right here is everything that I filed in court, all my exhibits, which was later found that was not docketed like it should have been. So, as you can see right here, I don't know if you can see it, but there's the stamp, and I got another one. Let me get another clear one so you guys can see. Where I had the court's stamp. And as you can see, I had it stamped all the way through the book. Here it is right here. And it has October 27th. And I know it's not clear enough for you guys to see, but I'm trying to make it so you can see. And I'll try to find another one. Because I had the book stamped throughout the docket. Oh, hold on. Because I want you guys to clearly see that this was fraud. Continuous fraud. Here's another one. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's stamped right here. I mean, I can see it, but it's stamped the 27th. Okay. I have another clear copy. I just need to find it here. So right there in that line item, I just want to show you guys that this is fraud, because when you manipulate what's put on the court dockets, that's automatic fraud upon the court, which should lead me to a set-aside judgment. Well, let me tell you what happened. So I've been going across state lines to protect myself and to protect my son. And I'm going to tell you, this Democratic Party that has continued their fraud, their corruption, their abuse of power, I can show all of that here. where there's fraud upon the court, where they tried to kill my son and me, I can show it. I can show every last bit of it. Now, let me explain something to you. I gotta take a deep breath because sometimes this is overwhelming, very overwhelming. And I want the American people to see we're the little people. If we don't have cash or enough money to pat in these Democrats' parties' pockets, we can cancel Christmas. And this is why I go so hard for Donald Trump. It's because of the simple fact he's a family man. He cares about people. And what I've noticed is that this Democratic Party, Josh Nye, Roy Cooper, Bob Ferguson, have committed corruption. So, when I tell you these people have messed with every aspect of my life, I'm talking about every aspect. And these individuals that assisted them, they were only happy because they got to meet a celebrity, an elected official that was high up in the government, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, Barack Obama, and probably some more people, okay? So these individuals have done everything to ruin my life, even attempted murder on my life and the life of my son. So, as I was explaining, this should have been a set aside judgment, and it was not. They dismissed my case. Later to find out that when I filed an appeal in the Fourth Circuit of Virginia, the corruption continued. I mean, like literally when I was standing in there, the corruption was continuing. One of the um, court people went downstairs, took pictures of my car, changed up the docket. They were saying they couldn't do this, they couldn't do that, they couldn't notarize the docket, which I found out was later a lie. It was all a lie. So, let me show you what happened. So, I don't know if you guys seen the Martin Luther King Day breakfast in DC, but I went there advocating for the situation that happened in Washington State. I went there advocating for that. And once I did, let me tell you what happened. I went to the Martin Luther King Day breakfast at the Mayflower Hotel, disrupted it, and you can see that if you go to C-SPAN and look up Al Sharpton's Action Network on C-SPAN. If you get to the 43-minute mark, you'll hear me, okay? Shortly after that, after I was trying to, tell my story, what happened was I was talking to the Mr. Jenkins, which is the Department of Justice, Office of Civil Rights. He informed me that I needed to go to the FBI. So on my way back, I had to go to work. Then I headed towards the FBI. Noticed the vehicle had been following me for quite some time. This vehicle has followed me from state to state and has not stopped. And let me tell you what happened. I was on my way there, and you know how the GPS kind of like guides you at the last minute and tells you to get off the exit, but you get off on the wrong exit? Well, I ended up downtown Richmond, Virginia. This car continued to follow me. Continued. And after he continued to follow me, guess what happened? You won't believe it. I was parked at a police station, and I noticed that I could not park in the parking lot. So I went across the street. And when I went across the street, in the parking lot. I noticed a car kept driving by, the same car. Two black gentlemen get out, brandishing guns, ran towards me, shot off a gun. I was able to make it out of the parking lot. Now, this was March the 10th of this year, 2024. Well, I couldn't figure out why I was shot at. I left Virginia, left everything behind except for what I had in my car. Well, you know how the Lord keeps eating at you, telling you to look up to see if there's any insurance or anything in your name? Well, I did that. And guess what I found? This is the first thing I found. Reports of settlement. $50 million. So when I go and I look up the settlement, it says D's Construction, Denise Cheryl Ann Etienne, the case number, the same case number you guys looked at, 509-02-509 ABJ. And as you can see, $50 million. And look what they put off to the side. Prisoner litigation. I'm not a prisoner. Never was. This is what North Carolina Attorney General did to conceal this $50 million that he told the General Assembly that he settled on with me. And I'm going to let you listen to it. So he went into the North Carolina General Assembly and said that we agreed on a settlement. Well, we didn't know anything about it. Me didn't know anything about it. Only the North Carolina General Assembly. So on July 22nd of this year, when I found this information out, what I did was I contacted the North Carolina General Assembly. And this is what she said.
About General Statute 114-2.4.
Yes.
About the settlement agreement.
Okay.
Yeah, that subsection B just says the Attorney General shall report to the Joint Legislative Commission on Governmental Operations, which is a commission here at the General Assembly.
Okay.
The Attorney General shall report. So if anybody, on any agreements entered into by the state, a state department, agency, institution, or officer. So if the settlement involves, anybody with the state, then they notify us.
Okay.
If it's a payment, if it involves more than $75,000 or more.
Okay. So who do I talk to in regards to that?
That would probably be the Attorney General's office. So if it has to do with a settlement, they're the ones that handle all that. So let me see if I can find a phone number here. Okay, ready with something to write down?
Yes, I got it.
Okay, so they're at 919.
Okay.
716.
Okay.
6400.
Okay.
And whoever answers, just, tell them that you want to speak to somebody regarding a specific settlement.
Okay.
Within the Attorney General's office. And they should help get you transferred to the correct division.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so very much.
Oh, you're welcome. I hope this gets sorted because this is kind of concerning.
Yeah, it is.
So, yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay. Now, you see, This lady was concerned because before I started recording, she said the General Assembly has already released the funds to the North Carolina Attorney General. This is how far their corruption and this rabbit hole runs so deep. And this is why I'm pointing out the Democratic Party corruption. I want my $50 million. I deserve way more than that for all the hell that me and my family have been through, all the trauma of mail tampering, my apartment being engulfed with carbon monoxide, not once, not twice, but several times. They have tried to take my life, invaded my privacy. And I'm going to show you. And I have to show this, you guys. This is me. And this is the date. This is the levels of carbon monoxide I had in my body. 2.7%. This is the normal range. This was enough to kill me. This is North Carolina, Bob Ferguson, and these corrupt individuals that continue on their corruption and their abuse of power and mismanagement of funds. And this is why I'm seeking asylum in my own country, in the United States. This is beyond abuse of power. I need to be in witness protection. I need to be covered. And right now, I'm only covered by the blood of Jesus. The corruption is so bad, you guys. And I want you guys to wake up and realize that this Democratic Party is so corrupt and so abusive. The left is radical. And I want you to know that CBS was complicit to all of this because they put me on TV and said I was posing as a general contractor, knowing that I was registered as a small business owner in North Carolina. This is how corrupt they are. This is how they abuse their power. They tried to defame my character because they were trying to cover up North Carolina's abuse. Now it's coming back full circle. Because guess what? You tried to defame Donald Trump, and now he's coming after you. And the same goes for the Washington State Attorney General. You came after Trump. Now he's coming after you for what you have done and what you continue to do. You patting up charges up on my son. You patting up charges on Donald Trump. And guess what? It's about to come back full circle. And I remember, Bob Ferguson, you basically, lied. You changed your name up to make it look like 3 or 4 individuals are running against you, and you're all the same person. And let me tell you what he did, you guys. Let's go back to Bob Ferguson. He wrote me this letter after I wrote him and told him. Now, at the time, I did not know that he was involved. So, as you can see here at the top, it's got his name, Bob Ferguson, right? It's right there, Attorney General. He's saying that for the settlement that happened in Washington State, Pierce County, he was going to send it over to the Tort Claim Division. Well, I later found out through one of my friends that when she went to the Pierce County Court and found out, what she did was got the court dockets. And when she got the court dockets, I found out that Bob Ferguson was totally involved in the corruption. He was totally involved. He had no business responding to me. He had no business even responding to this complaint, knowing that he was the same person that was on the case, which is Robert W. Ferguson. This is how corrupt the system is. This is how corrupt these attorney generals are. And there's no accountability. There is no oversight. And this is what's wrong. So when you come after people and say that they're doing wrong, you might as well point the finger back at yourself. Because what you're doing to Trump is coming back to you in full circle. It's coming back. So let me show you how Bob Ferguson, and this is the court filings, and it's Robert W. Ferguson, Attorney General. Now, I want y'all to see. He changed his name up. What does that say? Bob Ferguson, Attorney General of Washington State. And then you have here Robert W. Ferguson, Attorney General. So you change up your name? You commit corruption, collusion, falsifying documents, court documents, and you settled on this case. And you know you settled on it. Now who's going to hold you accountable? And I hope it's Trump. You need to go to jail. There needs to be accountability. And there is none. Because you, Bob Ferguson, you, Josh Stein, you, Roy Cooper, think you're above the law. And you think you can't be touched. Well, think again. And I hope and I pray God Almighty comes down to you and put something up under you that will make you settle on this matter, both of these matters, before you go to jail.